Rocky Hill Accountants offers a unique, low-pressure approach to professional and personal services, which is why they have an excellent client retention rate and are extremely proud of the high-quality services that their firm provides. The executive team at Rocky Hill Accountants has over 35 years of combined experience in income tax preparation, bookkeeping, accounting, and IT crypto tax. They specialize in individual income tax preparation, as well as trusts, estates, and gift tax returns. The tax deadline for individuals is May 17th. If you're one of the 50 million Americans who still hasn't filed, visit RockyHillAccountants.com. Welcome to the Roll Call Podcast, part of the CMG Podcast Sports Network. I'm Joe Aguirre, along with Dylan Oxton. Things have definitely turned around for the New York Yankees. That much is sure. A stretch of 6-3 over the last 9. Yanks definitely have to feel good about themselves. The pitching's been very good. I'm very pleased with the Yankees pitching. It was a big part of the reason why they did so well. It would have been nice to sweep Tampa Bay, but just was not in the cards. Yankees team ERA 3.22. Their tops in strikeouts per game, batting average against, whip, and walks allowed. Corey Kluber's on the hill tonight. Had a rough 5th inning. It's allowed 4 runs. Aaron Judge, couple homers, but Yanks trailing that one 4-2. Big news going into this game. Very unfortunate. Giancarlo Stanton is out with a quad. Some quad tightness is officially what they're listing that as. But this guy's been absolutely on fire over his last 15 games. Hitting 381, 4 homers, 10 RBI, had the game-winning hit against Washington. You were just saying, we're going to talk about him in a minute, but Yanks got a really good thing going on. Hopefully this injury isn't the beginning of that thing, but your 2 highest-paid guys are absolutely killing it right now, and that's really, Dylan, all you can ask for.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I was just saying to you right before we hopped on, how often do we see across the league on a team where they have big contracts, 2 of the biggest contracts on that team, both living up to the potential at the same time? I mean, right now, Giancarlo, it's an early MVP talk, but he was playing like an MVP in that stretch of 15 games. He was absolutely on fire versus Houston. That game-winning single against Washington. I mean, the Yankees aren't where they are right now without Giancarlo in that stretch. Because to be perfectly honest, he was the offense. There's no one else hitting. It certainly was not Aaron Judge. And also, I mean, the Yankees just aren't where they are this year without Garrett Cole. That's plain and simple. The reason why the Yankees have the best pitching staff is because of Garrett Cole. Given Corey Kluber has maybe up until tonight, and Jameson Taillon up until yesterday, they've been semi-solid. Domingo's getting it turned around. Jordan Montgomery looked fantastic in that game against Tampa Bay. That's the best he's looked in a while. But without Garrett Cole and without Giancarlo, this team is in deep trouble. Because, I mean, honestly, right now, the Yankees are 25th offensively, and I can only imagine what we'd be if it wasn't for Big G.
Garrett Cole, by the way, 1.37 ERA, 52 2/3 innings, 72 strikeouts, and a whip of 0.62. I was on Keys to the City earlier today Over the last 3 years, Garrett Cole has more 10 strikeout games than anybody, and that includes Jacob deGrom. Max Scherzer, matter of fact, is actually also ahead of Jacob deGrom on that list. So I know everyone thinks he's so amazing, but 5 games this season with 10 strikeouts and 0 walks. Garrett Cole has been just absolutely dominant. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, I mean, I think the Yanks are in big trouble if this guy's not on the team. So
Oh yeah.
for anybody who
We're
wants to talk about how cheap Hal Steinbrenner is, lest he forget, this guy's been as advertised. And here's the other thing I said earlier today, Dylan. I'd be curious your thoughts on who's the better ace, deGrom or Cole. Garrett Cole faces batting lineups that feature 9 Major League Baseball hitters. Not 8,
mm-hmm.
9.
Mm-hmm.
And he also
Mm-hmm.
wins a lot more games than Jacob deGrom does. And
Mm-hmm.
in a sport where we measure a team's success by the wins and the losses, again, tell me how not important wins are to starting pitching. And okay,
I know.
maybe, maybe.
This is a huge debate between you and I. Even off air when during class, I remember that one time we went on for like an hour and a half about just Jacob deGrom, and he's not even a Yankee. Um, I mean, they're both pitching at such a high level right now. It's hard to say who's better and who's not. I know you're siding with Cole, and when people say Garrett Cole's better, you can't really say, "Oh, well, you're wrong," because I mean he's pitching out of his mind. It's literally deGrom, Cole, and then there's a big space, and then the rest of the league. It's those two guys are on a different planet. Um, Cole has just, I mean, yeah, he's been unbelievable. He's been untouchable. That game against Tampa Bay, I was ready. I mean, I was ready for him to go out to the ninth. I kind of wanted him to go out to the ninth, but at the same time, I'm not worried about our bullpen situation or our bullpen blowing it because the way Chapman's pitching right now, that ain't happening anytime soon either. But I mean, deGrom also has just been. With deGrom, it's more of an accumulation of the past 3 to 4 years. And I know you could say the same thing about Garrett Cole, but deGrom over maybe the past 3 years has a slight edge, I'd say, on Cole, just stats wise, ERA wise. And I don't know.
Against inferior opposition
No, I
with
get it.
lineups that are 8 deep. I mean, sorry. It would be so much more impressive if Jacob deGrom were to ever come over the American League and do that, because we've seen guys that dominate in the National League that come to the American League and it
Mm-hmm.
never looks that good. So
Yep. No,
I I
you make a
I have
very
to give the
valid
edge
point.
to Garrett Cole. And again, at the end of the day, you're the starting pitcher, and whether you get the W or not next to your name, your team has to win them.
Mm-hmm.
And his
Yeah.
team doesn't win games. And I've asked this question, and I think people think I'm being facetious when I say this, but what is it about Jacob deGrom that sucks the energy out of the Mets, that makes Edwin Diaz suck as a closer? Why don't the big hits happen when your ace is on the mound? I don't for the life of me understand that. And
I
every year,
mean,
Dylan, every year I got to hear about it. Oh, hard luck. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe something's wrong there.
I mean,
Maybe strike out less guys. Maybe you're just putting everyone to sleep over there with your pitching. But something's wrong.
I think it's just like at this point, that's $1 million question that the Mets fans have been asking themselves for quite some time now. Is why can't they just scratch a couple runs across for this guy? And I'd say maybe there's an answer if it happened like a little bit, but it just seems like it's every year,
Yes.
every time out, multiple times a year.
This is
Like,
now 4 years in a row
oh yeah, like I
where
mean,
they can't win a game when he's on the mound. And I'm sorry to say, Like the first 2 years, I was kind of like, whatever. Yeah, fine, fine. This is getting to the point of something's wrong. You need to diagnose what the problem is. Something's not clicking when that guy's on the hill. That's not good.
I mean, the
Again,
only
it's
thing
it's again, it's not like they're blowing it and then winning the game. They're losing the games.
yeah, no, exactly. And the thing is, it's hard to put that on DeGrom because, like, he's going out there doing the best he can.
It's hard to put it on DeGrom over one season. 2 seasons, it's like, all right, it's just weird. 3 seasons, and you're like, wait, what's going on? And now we're on year 4, and I'm asking the question, what is going on when that guy is pitching that the rest of the team is checked out completely? They don't
No,
hit,
yeah,
they can't pitch. I mean, again, they went out and got him Edwin Diaz coming off 57 saves for Seattle. So that we didn't have to hear this, and it's the same old, same old. So
yeah.
what is going on? The question has to be asked because this is ridiculous. And I'll say this too. All the other aces in baseball win 15 to like 21 games every year. And so we have to hear, wins aren't important because this guy can't get one.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I have been kind of, as you've been harping on about it for a while now. I am starting to turn back around on the whole win stat because it does matter when it comes to a Cy Young or just in general. Just you got to win the games that you're.
If Garrett Cole wins 9 games this year, you will lose your mind. And I'm like, well, he had 28 quality starts. I don't care. I want wins. I'm paying you $35 million a year, not for a great effort.
Yeah.
Oh, you gave up 3 earned runs in 6 innings? Quality start.
No, yeah. I mean, also, I seem to think also that the Mets management of DeGrom has been poor. There's definitely some times when he's still got a lot in the gas tank, and they take him out to his own detriment. And there's definitely some times when he's getting touched up, and by touched up I mean he's let up 2 or 3 runs, but he's still pitching pretty well, and they just take him out in the 6th inning. Like, let the guy go. I mean, it's not going to get much worse at that point.
Again, why? Like, here's the question I have to ask. What are you saving him for?
Exactly. He's a starting pitcher.
There's a reason they pull him out when they do in the 6th or 7th inning. And again, I suspect that part of the reason why he doesn't last as deep into these games as he should be pitching. This guy should be, and again, you're facing a lineup 8 deep. There's no reason why you shouldn't be pitching deep into these games. He seems to come out when they need him most. Is also, I'll point that out, happens all the time. It's the inning he comes out where it all implodes.
Yeah. And given I obviously, I mean, I would hope no starting pitchers out there like, oh my God, I really hope Skip comes out and takes me out. I'm going to chalk that up to just piss poor management on the Mets' part.
When Aaron Boone comes out to get Garrett Cole out of games, I feel like at any moment Garrett Cole might slam the ball up against Boone's face. I don't feel like DeGrom ever wants to fight for the ball.
I like that take. Cole
gets angry. I'm serious when I say that.
I was
I could see
surprised
a
that he was
scenario
smiling
where
the other day.
he does something aggressive to Aaron Boone to stay in a ball game.
Well, I don't know if you saw this or you might have missed it, but on when did Cole pitch? He pitched Sunday versus Tampa.
Yes. No,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday. That was yes.
Yeah. Tuesday. You're
And
right.
today's
I'm right. I'm
Friday.
right. Tuesday.
You know why? Because we do the show usually on Thursday, and I'm forgetting that it's Friday. It's Friday today.
That loss yesterday was a little depressing. But Tuesday when Cole came out in the eighth inning, for a second I was like, "Oh my God, who's gonna go tell this guy that he's not coming out?" After he just came in the eighth inning, after he just struck out the side, throwing pure gas, he was still throwing 99, just blowing it by these guys. And I was like, throw him out there in the ninth. And I thought he was going to go out there the ninth. But then you could see him kind of like put it on the coat. You could see guys going up to him, like patting him on the back. And you could see he was kind of like he got told that, hey, you're done. And I saw a smile on his face, which really surprised me because normally on days that Cole's pitching, you don't see him smile at all. And it was ironic to me that he was smiling after he got pulled, striking out those three guys in the eighth, and he was sitting at 105 pitches. He could have easily gone to ninth. But I mean, I guess put a lot of faith in Chapman.
Quick update on the Yankee game that's happening right now. Top of the seventh. There's one out. Runners on first and second. Gio Urshela is at the plate, and Baltimore's gone to the bullpen. Corey Kluber, still in there. Got through the sixth inning.
Good.
No sweat. 4 runs, 7 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, 85 pitches. There is a chance he comes out for the seventh, although let's see what happens. I suppose it'll all depend on what happens here in this inning. But yeah,
I like the way Kluber's been pitching. He's
just gonna say that I feel the same way. He didn't get off to a great start. It seems as if James Taillon is the weak spot in this rotation right now. But even with that, I mean. I was listening.
It's a nitpicky weak link, if you want to say.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I was listening to the game on the radio, so I didn't see it. But, I mean, he had 9 strikeouts. And from what it sounded like on the radio, it sounded like he was pitching pretty well. He made a couple of mistakes, and I love him, but I hate to say it, when Gary's catching, I think you're more likely to have situations like that.
You know what I was kind of, picking up on, because obviously Higgy is Cole's personal catcher. So on the game that Cole was pitching with Higashioka behind the plate, and the next day when Gary was actually, when Gary was actually catching, I was trying to pick up on like just things that Kyle does behind the plate, and Gary does. Gary's got a lot of moving parts. It just seems like he's doing all this, like he's on his one knee, he's moving side to side. It seems like he's thinking too much, while it just seems like Kyle is just back there on both legs, comfortable and just knowing what he's got to do, and like he's just comfortable in his whole little thing he's got going on. And while Gary just seems to be, not that he can't do it, it just seems like he's overthinking while he's behind the plate with other guys. And I'm glad now that Gary is no longer catching Garrett Cole, because Garrett Cole needs to have the best whoever the best catcher the Yankees have, it needs to be catching Garrett Cole. But when it comes to Taillon, like yesterday's game, it didn't, like, the stat line doesn't look all too good. But when you're watching the game in the eye test, when you have 9 strikeouts, you're doing something right. Like he's got the stuff. He can get outs. It's just yesterday that was just a simple case of a bloop and a blast killing you. You got a bloop hit, a double, and then the next guy hit a home run. So boom, there you go, 3 runs, and then your outing looks bad, and you put the team in a hole. And when a team's not hitting, 3 runs can kill you.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the 2021 Major League Baseball starting pitching rankings, and the rankings were Jacob deGrom, Garrett Cole, who wins games, Shane Bieber, who wins games, Trevor Bauer, who wins games, Max Scherzer, who wins games, Clayton Kershaw, who, when he's not hurt, wins games, and Yu Darvish, who also wins a lot of starts.
Corbin Burns is not up there this year.
Maybe he would be next on the list. My point is, he's the only guy on that list that doesn't have 15, 16, 17, 20 wins.
Yep.
I mean, again, I know what the numbers look like. I get it, but I don't know. Something is wrong in Queens. Is all that's all I'm telling you. Something isn't right here.
You want to know the key word in that? It's in Queens.
Yeah, well,
it's not our problem.
It's a weird thing. Well, it's our problem in that this is getting tiring. I'm tired of hearing about what a great pitcher he is. Guy doesn't win games. Got 73 wins in his entire career.
I mean, I would take him. I would take him as my pitcher.
Let me ask you a question. Would you take him as your pitcher? You want a guy who, for some reason, can't ever get a W? I mean,
I think that's a Mets problem.
What is the point of baseball?
No, it's to win games, but I think that's a Mets problem. And if he was a Yankee, that problem gets fixed.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, I know for certain we're never going to find out because.
All right, here's the point I'll make. When CC Sabathia came to the Yankees, he'd come off an unbelievably dominant stretch with the Milwaukee Brewers, overpowering guys, painting corners.
All-time stretch.
Unbelievable. Gets to the Yankees, they're scoring 6 runs a game. Guy finishes with a 3.21 ERA, wins 19 games, doesn't sniff a Cy Young Award. And the guy that won it that year, I believe, was Zach Greinke with 13 wins. And here's
this is 09?
Yeah. I remember thinking this. Why does CC Sabathia get punished for pitching on a good team? Why is a guy who goes out there and gives you 7 innings and gives up a couple solo homers because he's throwing fastballs in an 8-0 blowout in the 3rd inning? Pitching to the scoreboard. People would always say back in the day, oh, King Felix, if he was on the Yankees, he'd win 30 games. Really? You think he'd be painting corners like that if the Yankees were scoring 5.5 runs a game for him? He had to pitch like that.
Yeah. Well, they were.
Pitched like that because the team scored like 2.5 runs a game. You pitch based on what's happening around you. Now, I've made this argument before. I talk about Steve Carlton, 1972, St. Louis Cardinals. They were god-awful. They won 58 games. He had 27 wins on that team.
Yeah.
You can still win on a crappy team if you're an ace. There's only one ace in baseball who does not consistently walk away with W's. Just the one.
And it's DeGrom. But I see what you're saying, but I also see at the same time the counter argument to the whole wins being important when it comes to a Cy Young race. Because not too long ago, I know you remember, the Nathan Eovaldi had like 18, 19, 20 wins for the Yankees that year, and his ERA was definitely like it was around like a +4. It was not a good ERA for a guy that would you normally see winning 20 games. You'd be like, oh, that guy won 20 games, 28. He must be an ace. And then when you look at his ERA, it was borderline pretty bad. Same with Rick Porcello that year. He won the
By the way,
he won the Cy Young.
Just 16-8 for Greinke that year.
That's not that bad.
A 2.16 ERA. And let me just tell you what he did the next couple seasons, because I know everybody was like, dude, this guy's one of the best pitchers in baseball. That ERA was ridiculous. The next year, his ERA was 4.17. He was 10-14. Went 16-6 the following year with a 3.83 ERA. I mean, he went like 5 or 6 more years. Then he went to the Dodgers, 2.63, 2.71, 1.66. Do you see how that works?
Oh, yeah.
You go to the National League. Now again, everybody wants to talk about how great he is. ERA with Houston in 2019, 3.02. Last year, 4.03. This year, 4.23. So, again, just because a guy pitches to a low ERA in a couple of years doesn't make him something special. It just doesn't. In 2009, CC 19-8, 3.37 ERA, made more starts, pitched more innings, finished 4th in that Cy Young race. The following season, 21-7, 3.18 ERA, 19-8 the following year with a 3 ERA. Finishes 3rd and 4th in the Cy Young Award those years. Again, punished. Punished. I mean, I don't understand that.
No,
those are ace numbers on a championship squad.
Yeah, they are. You're right.
But we want to nitpick. Oh, this guy on like a last place team. Get out of town. Get out of town. Sorry, it's not even worth having the conversation anymore. I'll be honest.
No, yeah, I mean, you're right about the whole American League. There's only a couple guys that you can really, pick out in a lineup that have been dominant aces in their whole careers in the American League.
Ian Kennedy. You remember Ian Kennedy?
Oh, I remember that name.
Ian Kennedy won a Cy Young Award in the National League. That's all you need to know.
What? Did he? When?
Yeah, he won 22 games one year.
Ian Kennedy won a Cy Young?
I think he did, didn't he? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, you are.
Well, if nothing else, I could tell you right now, he won 22 games in the
he definitely had a good year. I was like, what
came in 4th. All right, so he came in 4th, 21-4 with a 2.88 ERA.
Yeah. See, I remember him having a very good year. I don't remember him winning. I was like, oh,
came in 4th again. This is a guy who, in his American League career, has never had a winning season.
I never thought of him as a good pitcher, to be perfectly honest.
He finished 4th, but again, dude, he 21-4, 15-12, 13-13. Then he went 9-15. Then he went to the American League, went to the Royals, 11-11, 5-13, 3-9. 3-2 was his first winning season of his entire career. But he was 48-34 with a 3.82 ERA in Arizona. And 22-37 in Kansas City. 1-4 with a 6 ERA as a Yankee.
No, I mean, he certainly never really pitched like that when he was with the Yankees. So whatever, he can be as good in Arizona as he wants to be. But when it was to circle back on the ground thing, I mean, like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like when I'm giving him the eye test and I'm watching him pitch and I'm watching him and I'm just seeing these guys go up to the plate and it's not even a contest. It's not even close. Like he's throwing just 101 with ease, and then just dropping a 93 slider just for shits and giggles. I mean, I haven't seen stuff this good from a pitcher maybe since when peak Scherzer or Randy Johnson back in his heyday. Like DeGrom's stuff is just so electric and so good and then when you watch him pitch, it's just no contest. But Joe, at the same time, you're right. Like you got to get wins. You know, stats are nice. Stats are nice. You know what's better? Wins are nice. Winning
Well,
games are
again, I
nice.
think that's why when people talk about war, and I
I
think
hate that
I
stat.
must not understand what war is, because if war doesn't translate to actual wins, then war is stupid.
Very dumb. Very
Again,
dumb.
I'll make my war point when he had 10 wins in a 10 war.
Yeah, well, and the
What's
whole
that
war
mean?
argument is like, well, when it comes to because when it will come to MVP talk, war will be brought up, and it's like, well, you know what? It's not the war award. It's the most valuable player award,
But so
and
how can a guy make 33 starts and be 10 wins above a replacement pitcher and he wins 10 games?
yeah,
Doesn't that make the replacement player worth 0 wins and 32 starts a statistical impossibility? I mean,
yeah,
Anthony Young is one of the worst pitchers of all time, also a Met, by the way. I believe he lost 29 games in a row.
that's not good.
No one's not gonna win a start in 32 games. So war is dumb. Yeah, I I want to say I've been very clear, Sander, my man,
Yep.
in that I said the Yankees are going to be fine. I told the Keys brothers that today. They were like, everybody was panicking. I was like, I am proud to say
Check
they've
the tapes on the roll call.
not
Like
panicked.
we've been preaching RELAX.
Now,
Relax.
I said before, I don't believe that anybody in this Yankee lineup is going to hit 160 for the entire year. I don't think that. Clint Frazier was like, hold my beer, and he's giving me a run for my money. But he's going to start hitting too. Glaber started hitting.
Mm-hmm.
It'll happen. He's
You know
too
what
good
will
not
happen,
to.
Joe? You know what will happen is when other guys are struggling, the guys that are hot right now, for instance, Giancarlo, Gio, maybe even to a little extent,
Well,
DJ.
speaking of Gio, I should tell you, you might want to know this. Gio Urshela has put the Yankees out on top in this ball game by a score of 5-4. He hit a 3-run homer, and the Yankees turned a 4-2 deficit into a 5-4 lead.
That's my boy.
And Chad Green is now taken over for Corey Kluber with a chance to give the Klubs a victory.
That's great. I mean, can we give Gio some shine real quick? Gio Urshela has got to be one of the best all time pick up off the scrap heaps moves for Cashman
Oh, yeah.
all time. Because I mean, think about it. He came in and we're like, oh no, Miguel Andujar, he's hurt for the season. What the hell are we gonna do? Who's this guy? Gio who? Like, okay, he's got a glove, but I heard his bat sucks. And ever since then, he just pretty much replaced the rookie of the year. And don't I give Miguel Andujar the rookie of the year. So even though I know he wasn't rookie of the year, I call him rookie of the year because he should have won that award. That's neither here nor there. But Gio just has not low key to Yankees fans because we've been seeing it every day, but along just to the league, he's just broken out as a borderline star. He's shown that he's got a great bat. We've known that he's always had a great glove, even though stat nerds will say his glove is not good or statistically his range is not there. According to my eyes, all I see this guy do is make fantastic play after fantastic play. And I mean, he's a gem, a gem of a pickup by Brian Cashman.
Sander also asks, what do you guys think about who is the Yanks' legit number 2 starting pitcher? Here's, I would say it's probably Corey Kluber.
Yeah,
Who's
for me, it's a toss up between him and Herman.
Well, I mean, Herman is
he's getting, you know what, the solo home runs are a little concerning, but they are just solos, but that's not always going to last. And then Monty, like, I don't know. We've seen enough from Monty where it's like the past game that he just had, phenomenal.
Yeah, well, so Montgomery on the year, statistically speaking, at 2-1, a 3.96 ERA, a 103 WHIP, 220 batting average against. Statistically speaking, I think you could make the case he's their legit number 2 guy right now.
Yeah,
I think you could argue that. I think you could argue for Kluber as well. Again, grinding out a start tonight. And if these guys hold on tonight, he gets another win.
That's a veteran start out of Corey Kluber.
1,000,000%, dude. He got into trouble in the 5th, and he had a quick 1-2-3 6th, and got him right back out there for the 7th inning, and bam, there you go. Now they're back up on top. Chad Green in the game, and I'm sure the Cuban Missile is beginning the nuclear reaction out in the bullpen or whatever it is that he does. So. Good stuff.
Doing something right.
I do want to point something out tonight. Luke Voit is hitting in front of Aaron Judge tonight, who has 2 home runs and a walk. Gary Sanchez is hitting behind him, and I know Gary Sanchez stinks, but you don't want to face Gary Sanchez with guys on base because then you have to throw fastballs to Gary. That means with Luke Voit, right? Want to be a little careful with Luke Voit, got the power. You're putting Judge in a really nice spot, and he responded in a big way tonight with 2 home runs and a walk. Aaron Judge needs people around him that are good hitters. When they moved Stanton in front of Judge, Stanton went off. That's the protection in the lineup. Aaron Judge has not had it. That's why Aaron Judge hasn't been seeing fastballs. Tonight, a totally different story. And there you go. So, you know, what is Luke Voigt's impact on the lineup? You know,
it's more, for me, it's more than just the stats he produces. He allows other people in the lineup, like you just said, he allows other people in the lineup to see fastballs, to get looks that they normally don't get because he's there. They have to respect his bat. And he is that good of a bat that they have to respect it. I mean, for Christ's sakes, he led the league in home runs last year. And the very first game that he came back, I remember you texted in our roll call group chat. You said that, like, you can already just see the impact he's making because Judge is getting balls that he can hit. Even though he didn't hit any home runs in that game, he was getting some hard hit singles and hard hit outs. He was getting looks.
First at bat of this game, LeMahieu had struck out. Voit had grounded out. He comes to the plate, right? There's 2 outs in the first inning. And mind you, 11 pitches already thrown. LeMahieu took 6 to strike out. Voit grounds out on 5. So it's already been a grueling inning for Kramer. And he throws fastball, cutter, 4-seamer. And it's 2-2. He hangs a curveball. Judge crushes it out of the park.
Yeah.
In his next at bat, 4-seamer, cutter, changeup, 4-seamer, home run. Again, when you've got Gary Sanchez hitting behind Judge, you have all the reason in the world not to put guys on base. You don't want to put yourself in a spot with Gary because Gary can do damage that way. So you're going to pitch to Aaron Judge. And so, and I've been saying this when Voit got back, that even if he doesn't hit, and he hasn't done anything yet, just stretching this lineup out will be the impact that he has. And again, you're already seeing the benefit. By the way, Gleyber Torres will be back soon. I just got an update from Aaron Boone. Gleyber will be back shortly. Hicks could be a problem, strained tendon, and I mentioned already the quad tightness for one Giancarlo Stanton.
I mean, with the Hicks thing, it kind of makes you wonder because he has been struggling. How long has he been dealing with this whole wrist thing? Like, has it been all year? Because I mean, he
looks like it.
Good. He just hasn't been good.
You know, so here's my other thing, right? I talked about this last year. Aaron Judge played through injuries, and everybody was pissed because he didn't put up big numbers, and everybody was pissed that Giancarlo Stanton didn't play because he was hurt. Play through the injury and don't play well and get hated on, or sit, get healthy and get hated on.
Yeah.
I mean, Yankee fans really are some of the dumbest people on the planet. I hate to say it.
We are.
I hate to say it. I really do. But I mean,
the whole Yankee fandom is such a contradiction. It's crazy. Because I like to think that we have some of the smartest fans and knowledgeable fans in all of baseball. I'm not going to say I know we have some of the most knowledgeable fans in all of baseball, but at the same time, some of the stuff that Yankee fans say is just like, oh boy, like it's like I'm not with him. You know what I mean? It's like
it's upsetting. It's upsetting that I mean, and again, dude. Here, I like to tell people this. After the Yankees lose, you don't have to go on Facebook and cry about it to 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Do it on your own page. Just do it on your Facebook page. Nobody gives a crap that you're pissed off that Clint Frazier can't hit. Shut up. Do you have better things to do with your life?
Some people like you and I love the Yankees, but you don't see me like every day just being all depressed. And people are like, "Oh, Dylan, what's wrong?" Oh, Clint's batting only 141, and he's supposed to be doing better. It is what it is. Like I know Clint's gonna come around. He's too good. He's too talented, and I mean, people are just ragging on him right now. And
what happens though if this guy doesn't start hitting soon?
Florial.
Now they just brought Florial up to Triple H.
They did
Triple H. Triple A. What am I talking about? Triple H. What was I watching wrestling before? Where'd that come from? I said they brought him up to Triple H. What?
He's just sitting in Greenwich like right in front of Triple H's desk.
Oh,
it's good to see you, Esteban. We've been waiting for you.
Hey, it'll be interesting. I mean, I love Clint Frazier. This is tough. This is as tough to watch right now as Gary Sanchez. To see two guys who can play really good baseball that are absolutely lost right now. And
I think Clint. Sorry to interrupt you. I think Clint definitely has a longer leash right now than Gary does.
It helps that Stanton and Hicks are hurt.
Yeah, for sure. And then, for the solution, real quick for Frazier. One, I don't want to hear, oh, Brett Gardner needs to play more. He's playing just as bad.
Yeah.
Like,
well, again, it's the Sanchez Higashioka argument. I mean, for everybody that wanted Kyle Higashioka to start, well, he's batting 200.
Yeah, well, you're getting it. Yeah, like here you go. Here's the real Kyle Higashioka. Yeah, he calls a great game for Garrett Cole, which is valuable. I know, but just because you can call a good game doesn't mean you're a starting catcher in the
Since
MLB.
since they started giving Higgy more time than Sanchez, Sanchez has been a lot better.
Yeah.
He's produced. He was 2 for 3 the other day with a walk. He's got 15 walks on the season. He's actually shown a pretty decent eye at this point.
That's one thing I've been noticing is like throughout every game that he's kind of been playing, he gets on base at least like once.
Yeah.
You know,
He's got about a 50-point higher on base percentage than does Kyle Higasioka. I just want to point out.
I've always kind of liked, the on base percentage more than the batting average because, on base percentage, like what's baseball all about? Is getting on base, moving runners around. Well, that's how it used to be, at least until it was just hit home runs. But it used to be getting on base. And I mean, as long as Gary's getting on base, like, you can't really, I mean, we can rag on him, obviously, but it's small steps. Even though we're at this point, we're kind of past small steps. We need to see a little bit more out of him, but hopefully that comes around. And then with Clint, I mean, I guess he's kind of lucking out with with this Hicks injury, because if it wasn't for the Hicks injury, I'd say Clint's got to start sitting, and we got to call some people up to replace Frazier. But now with maybe possibly Giancarlo getting hurt, please God no, and Hicks definitely being hurt, Frazier's got to start hitting the ball.
Aaron Judge coming out of whatever funk he was in. Although again, I feel like I've already explained this, the whole Aaron Judge thing. I mean, again, you don't want to see Aaron Judge go 0 for 15 with 11 strikeouts. We'd have 7 in a row at one point.
Oh, it was 5 in a row in one game, and then it was 7 in a row. The next day, he started off with two more strikeouts, and what the word you used, a funk, that's a very, very kind way to put it.
That's 3 games. That's 3 games in a season of 162. That's 11 strikeouts in a season where the guy's going to have about 175 of them. He got 11 out of the way in 3. I mean, again, like here's my thing. How they do in the series?
No, I mean we did fantastic.
So that's really all that matters.
No,
does it matter? Does it? I mean, look, at any given time, someone's not going to be hitting. Any hit parade is only complete when all 9 guys have gotten into the hit column. Most nights it's 4, 5, 6 guys doing all the damage, and so that wasn't his series, and I'm fine with that. And again, in a situation where you got Stanton down, where you got Hicks down, where Gardner's terrible, where Frazier is terrible, where Aaron Judge goes cold. I mean, there's not much more depth beyond Estevan Florial.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of guys lining up down there at the minor leagues that are ready to come knock the seams off the baseball. And not for nothing, I know Mike Tauchman's doing all right out there with the Giants, but he seems like he maybe is a better fit in the National League anyway.
Yeah, and there's going to be Yankee fans that are going to come out of the woodwork and be like, "Oh, we should have never traded Mike Tauchman." Blah 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 blah. Well, like again, Mike Tauchman is not an everyday Major League Baseball player. Not on this roster, at least. Maybe on some other teams, but
like the Giants or one of those teams where your outfielder can hit 12 home runs all season.
Yeah, and I mean, the only reason why we saw so much of him in 2018 or 2019, whatever year he got a lot of playing time.
19, and it was because of injuries.
Yeah, it was because of injuries. We had no one else to throw out there but Tauchman. And then, he played a good bit last year, and then he did not look good, to say the least. And then at the start of this year, did not look good at all either. I mean, we know what he is. He's not he's not that much of a starting did something bad happen.
Well, Wandy Peralta is pitching the 8th inning for the New York Yankees. and faced Trey Mancini and struck him out on 3 pitches. So speaking of the guy the Yankees got for Mike Talkman,
Yeah, I was about to say
they
Wandy
really like
Peralta
this
is
guy
not half
split.
bad.
He's never really impressed anybody, but man, he can the splits are great, and they saw something there, and
He's not half bad so far. Can't complain.
I'll tell you who's been amazing is Aroldis Chapman.
Oh my god.
Has he ever looked so good? No. This guy's focused and pumped, and just everything he's throwing is filthy. In the last 7 games, 11 strikeouts, 2 hits, 2 walks. He's struck out something like 80% of the guys he's faced this year. It's some nonsense. You like that? That feels
Oh
good.
yeah. You know what? I don't know if you've got I'm sure you have had this feeling before about Chapman. There are certain times like in the years that we've had him for a while since like 2016, where just like you feel like he's just gonna walk a bunch of people, like he just can't throw strikes or he can't find the plate. I haven't felt that at all this year. Dude's got pinpoint control with his fastball right now, and with the addition of his splitter, just his repertoire is just absolutely filthy. How I don't know how any batter, considering that they have to worry about 101 from the left side, a filthy slider, and then on top of that, a splitter, which until the very last second looks like a fastball and then just drops out. And he's throwing that splitter at like 93 miles per hour, which is the speed of almost average fastballs on starters. So, I mean, it's not a surprise that people aren't touching him. He's always been a strikeout artist, but now he's just got this control to go with it. I mean, he's so good. He's so good. And I know we're paying him a lot too. The 3 guys we're paying a whole lot of money to, Cole, Stant, and Chapman, all worth every single penny so far this year. Every single penny.
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%.
And then I can't wait till Britton comes back. We're sleeping on that too.
Yeah, throwing bullpen sessions should be back by the end of the month. Oh boy, that's a lot of good lefties in that bullpen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, arguably two of the top, I would say, top 3 lefty relievers in the league. I mean, then 2 of them are on our team.
It's a good place to be.
And then we get, I mean, Chad Green looking like Chad Green. Darren O'Day looks very good considering that, I mean, he can't throw 90, but, he's still getting outs. Michael King I know he got roughed up the other day,
I
but
love Michael King.
Michael King has been a big bright spot in this roster when, sometimes guys can't go, like, Tyon gets roughed up. We can throw Michael King out there for 3-4 innings, and up until yesterday, he was just giving us like 3 innings, maybe 1 run, or 3 innings, no runs, 6 strikeouts, outings like that. He's been unbelievable, and it's only a matter of time until he earns a start. To be perfectly honest,
Yeah, right now ERA of 1.84, a
pretty
WHIP of
good.
0.95, and a batting average against of 160.
You know what? Most people would say that's good.
Dude, real quick too, Chapman 31 Ks in 15 innings. I mean, that's more than 2 strikeouts an inning.
Yeah,
That's insanity.
yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's good.
Wandy Peralta, by the way, has a 0.91 batting average against and a 0.30 WHIP in 5 games for the Yankees this year.
I mean,
I'll
thanks,
tell you.
San Fran. I mean, it's funny because San Fran could kind of use him considering they're in first.
By the way, he goes quick 1, 2, 3, and he does it on 9 pitches. Wandy Peralta, 3 up, 3 down. I love it.
Is Chapman warming up?
One would have to assume that'd be the case here. Yeah.
I was just kind of hoping that fingers crossed that Boone wasn't going to do some stupid stuff. Be like, oh well, he needs to rest another day, considering we used him back-to-back days, and the moon's in retrograde right now, so we can't really like just some Boone explanation.
I I feel your pain there. Yeah. A Boone explanation is
Well, I mean, it's just I don't want to call him a liar because I feel like that's such a dirty and mean word to say. It's just hard to trust him per se, considering the past couple years with injuries and just like he was like, "Oh, Aaron Judge is fine." Next thing we know, he's a broken rib from last year that just miraculously we decided not to get fixed for months on end. It's like that. When I heard about that last year, that drove me insane. That's how we went about that. But it's in the past. I'm over it.
trying to be anyway.
Yeah. What? All right. So I also want to ask you this. It kind of seems like we're not the only team struggling offensively. It seems like it's like everyone's kind of not hitting, and like just the team in the other borough, they have a pretty solid lineup, and they're hitting worse than us. I think you would agree that the Mets have on paper, they should be hitting much better than they are, and they aren't. But they're still in first because they're pitching out of their mind too with Stroman and what's his face, Taiwan Walker. But they're not hitting, and we're not hitting. And it seems like the only team that is hitting is the Red Sox, but they can't really pitch either. And I also heard Blake Snell the other day, our old friend from Tampa, who's on the other side of the country now. He's saying that like the seams on the balls are slightly bigger, therefore giving him an advantage with his breaking pitches. That's what he was saying, at least.
Yeah,
And
look, the ball of the last couple of years, I was wondering what was going to happen when they stopped using that one. Once they got everybody in love with trying to hit those balls in the air, those balls were flying out of the yard.
juiced.
Yeah, big time, and everybody knew it, and everybody talked about it. And I thought, is baseball just gonna go back to the old ball? And this is exactly what's happened. Everyone's trying to hit launch angles, and this ball doesn't launch like that one did.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it is ugly all across the league. It's funny. I mean, the whole idea behind Moneyball was that you didn't want guys to make bad outs like strikeouts, that you wanted on base guys.
Yep. On
And I
base
suppose the
percentage.
argument against Moneyball is that Oakland never won anything. So what difference does it make? But striking out is the least productive of the outs. And
Yeah.
home runs is one of the worst ways to rally.
Mm-hmm. Like we're like I was just saying to you, um, like we're just not hitting right now. And when we were down 4-2, I was like, oh boy, like how are we gonna come back after this? Because one, we haven't really been hitting a lot of multiple run home runs, like big home runs, like 3-run bombs, even grand slams, stuff like that. It's been a lot of solo home runs for the Yankees, and I was worried that like we were going to be able to, cover that differential. And just yeah, it's just offense has been so wacky, and it makes you wonder like, our team's going to have to like go back and like reevaluate rosters or just overall team approaches of how they want to construct offenses if the long whole launch angle thing is not going to work with this new baseball. Because with the new baseball that came in 5 or 6 years ago, you kind of saw the beginning of launch angle coincide with the baseball, if I'm not mistaken. So if the baseball is back to normal, no longer juiced, is that same approach, the launch angle approach, going to work? And it's going to be interesting to see who's the first to crack the egg, to be innovative and figure it out. Hopefully, it's the Yankees.
Well, that brings up this question. If the offense continues to struggle, what's the solutions? Trades? I mean, again, there's no one to get. When nobody's really doing good, that's available. So that's a problem. Call
Yeah,
ups, there's not a ton of depth down in the minor leagues, and lineup changes. That's all the guy keeps doing. I'd like to see the Yankees go like 3 weeks with the same lineup.
yeah, I would like that too. But
See what happens.
we both know it's not Boone making the lineup. It's the cash god up top. I mean, are you're with me on that, right? That it's not Boone.
No, I don't buy that for a minute.
What?
No, come on. Look, whatever influence the analytics department has, I mean, at the end of the day, dude, Aaron Boone still has to write down, and I here's why I think this is Aaron Boone. The way this guy, and he does it all the time, outmanages himself.
Yeah.
Again, I know he's being fed information, and maybe he's trying to seem smart to everybody at once, but there's influence. I still think it's his call, and I still think he's an idiot and doesn't know how to do it right.
You know what I
So
think it
I'm
is?
halfway with you. I get what you're saying. I think the influence is a lot from Cash and the analytics crew, and I do think that's an issue.
I think you know what I think it is. I think it's Cashman being like, "Hey, Booney, nudge, nudge. That's who I want to play in that position."
Why are the
Or
Yankees obsessed with Mike Ford?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I like this. Like he looks like he should hit, doesn't hit. I love his whole look with the stash. He looks
Yeah,
cool and everything. He looks like a ball player. Looks like a Yankee.
they're obsessed with that guy.
It's because he's a lefty. It's
Yeah,
because
well,
he's a
again,
lefty
it
bat.
doesn't take much to impress them.
No, I mean we were apparently impressed by Jay Bruce.
Like, this guy's pretty good on paper. Like, well, okay, this isn't a paper game.
As long as you're left-handed, have a pulse, and can swing a bat across your body, the Yankees will play you. Like I mean,
Yeah,
we trotted out that albatross and Greg Bird for multiple seasons. Oh, he's got such a sweet swing. He's going to be better than Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez. He's going to be the best Yankees prospect in a while. Dude, it's not even on the team anymore. Greg Bird was embarrassingly bad. Jay Bruce. Oh, well, it's going to be nice to have a nice veteran lefty bat. If anything, Jay Bruce, we've been doing so much better without him. He was doing so bad he had to retire. And Mike Ford right now, is his batting average over 100? I don't think so. Like I'd like not to hate on Mike Ford, but like, bro, you're struggling. But it's because he's a lefty. He's still going to get tossed out there.
looks like the Yankees are probably going to win this first game. 5 runs, not exactly waking up, but definitely a better performance. I would expect, and the Yankees do pretty well in Baltimore. The ball flies out of Texas, so maybe they could use some of that. I do think
It's I call Baltimore Giants George Steinbrenner Field 2.0.
that's hilarious. Yeah, they really have. They have really done well over there. Next 7 games are with Baltimore and Texas. Tomorrow, Domingo Germán is going to be on the mound against Jorge Lopez, who comes in with a 5.63 ERA. That feels like a pretty winnable game. Montgomery will be pitching on Sunday. He goes up against John Means, who's actually, coming off a pretty decent start. Is he?
I was
4
trying
0.
not to. I was trying to avoid him. I don't want to face him. He's doing good this year.
Yeah, 4 0, 1.21 ERA, 53 strikeouts, and a 0.71 whip,
That's
including a
good.
0 in his last game.
It's so weird seeing a Baltimore starting pitcher be good.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It really has been.
Who's that one guy? Who's that one guy that was like semi decent as a lefty for Baltimore? I'd say like around 08 to 2010.
Oh my God.
I know, I know, because we both know who it was, but just the name is escaping me.
Yeah, which is pretty much the way it goes in Baltimore these days. Oh yeah.
I keep wanting to just say Zach Britton, but I know it's not Zach Britton.
It's right there too. That's the
I
worst
know.
part.
We'll figure it out. We'll post it on the Instagram page. It's just going to be the roll call podcast. Be like, if you listened, this is the guy that we were trying to find. I'm going to
Yeah,
find it. I'll
it's
find this.
yeah, please do. I'm so frustrated right now not to be able to think of that.
Because we both know who we're trying to think of too. Because there was one guy.
All right, so the Yanks, by the way, no days off. So they go right from
Good.
Baltimore to Texas. Jordan Lyles, who's pitched terribly this year, faces Garrett Cole. And then on Tuesday night, ESPN carrying this one, James Tyone against Mike Flatenowitz, who's
I
fall
think
from
that's
grace.
Fultonawich.
Yeah, Fultonawich, who was he was so good at first when he came up with Atlanta. He's off to a 1-3 start, 4.60 ERA.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a sad case. Kluber will pitch against Texas next Wednesday, and then we'll be back on Thursday for the end of that series. That game is at 2:00 in the afternoon. So we will do a post game next Thursday, the 20th. Again, Domingo Herman will get to start in that one. So,
To be
look,
perfectly honest, I'm expecting a sweep of Baltimore. I know it's privileged to say we're going to sweep a team, but I expect to sweep Baltimore. Fingers crossed that we hold on and win this game, and then I expect to drop one in Texas. Can't win them all, but it'd be nice to win them all. I could definitely see this being like a springboard to a winning streak, but I'll take 6 out of 7.
yeah, I mean, look, this 3 games over 500. I mean, in by the end of the month, they'll be closing in on 10. 10 turns to 20, 20 turns to 30.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, and look, they stumbled a little bit out of the gate, facts, and they've done that each of the last 3 years. So it's no shock. I learned not to freak out. Again, the injury situation isn't horrible. So got to be thankful for that. Voigt's back. Britton's getting ready to go. Sevy not too far behind. So things are only going to get better at this point. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the pitching is the pitching is the best in the league right now. So I feel great.
That's great.
Haven't heard. You know what's real quick before we go? Coney was saying this. How nice is it just to be able to go out every fifth day and just watch a true ace pitch? I can't remember the last time I've ever watched a true ace put on the pinstripes, and I get to go out and watch this guy pitch every other day, and it's automatic. It's an automatic 7 innings, maybe 1 run, and like at least 10 Ks. It's unbelievable.
It is. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to watch.
worth every penny, Joe. He's worth every penny.
Well, I'll say this, especially when it's not my money.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah,
Not my money.
if he came to me, it was like, "Hey, I need you to pitch in for my contract." To be like,
Hmm.
"Oh, well, I really like you and everything, but
Got to be undefeated for that, buddy." All right, well, that is going to do it for us. We're hoping to see our buddies JJ Vargas and Lucas Balduck real soon. Two guys killing it with a couple other shows, Stir the Pot Sports with JJ and Lucas on the Posting Up podcast. Make sure you check both of those out and a whole bunch more at clovercrestmedia.com. You can also visit us on the Clovercrest site. Search for the Roll Call Podcast. We also have a pretty kicking Facebook page. You can catch us on Twitter at the Roll Call Show. And of course, Amber Sabathia is a friend on Instagram. You can be too. Look up the Roll Call Podcast. For my man Dylan Octon, I am Joe McGuire. We'll catch you next Thursday on the Roll Call Podcast.
Can I get a roll call? Let's get it on. Hit the field, let's play ball. Come on home, we stand tall. Oh yeah, we back. Oh yeah, we back. 2020 division, Yanks back on the train track. Had to let the chances go, but we welcome in Garrett Cole. Judge back with the guy, we're bringing Giancarlo up on these corners. Look at the information they gonna K-back awesome. Boy in the shelter, they on the corners with your wrestler man. You seeing Chess don't play too. Severino in rotation, Paxton throwing K's too. Fully loaded, we got the air leads wide open. One game at a time, we stay focused. Bronx Bombers on a mission. World Series chasing, taking the division. No time for wasting. Again, first placing.